Okay, so we're going to do 4 examples where we're solving equations with fractional coefficients. So we're just going to build on what we learned Friday. Okay? Now, Friday we learned we have to search for the constant in the equation and get rid of that number first. So we've got 3 choices: 2/3, -7, and -5. Which number do we get rid of first if we want to solve this equation? 7. Look at where the variable is. Look at the number that's added or subtracted to the variable. That's the constant. So it's -7. We'll do the opposite. A positive or +7. Okay? So let's do that on both sides. And let's see what we have. Well, we didn't do anything to 2/3 times x. So that will come down. Then we've got -7 plus 7. Those make 0, so they cancel. Then we have -5 and 7. That's +2. So you really have to be comfortable with working with integers here. Okay, so now we have 2/3 times 7. Sorry, 2/3 times x equals 2. We want to get rid of the 2/3. We did this before, a few days ago. Well, we got a choice. We could divide. It's preferable to multiply first. Get rid of the denominator, because then you're dividing fractions. That gets a little messy. It's not you will get to the right answer by dividing first. Just gets a little tougher. So I'd rather multiply first. And the number I want to multiply by is whatever the denominator number is. In this case, 3. Thank you. So the reason I want that is this 3 and the 3 in the denominator cancel. And now I just have 2 times x equals 2 times 3, which is 6. And now I want to get rid of the 2 that's being multiplied with x. So just divide it. Okay. And you get x equals 6 divided by 2, 3. Okay. So we'll start off easy, but now we're going to throw in some negatives. Okay, how are we doing? Any questions? Yes.
Why did you divide?
Divide here?
Yes.
Because I have 2 times x. I don't want an answer of 2 times x. I want always to isolate the variable down to x. I always want the variable down to itself, and that's it. You want the variable on one side of the equal sign and the answer on the other. Okay, good question. Number 2. So this one is 73 is the same as 9/10 times n plus 19. So, we may run into slightly bigger numbers, but hopefully they'll work out nicely. Okay, so again, we want to search for the constant. Technically, we have 2, 73 and 19. Which one do I want to get rid of, though? 19. It's on the same side as n. That's the one we get rid of, but that's our constant. So I'm going to do the opposite of plus 19. Negative or minus 19. Okay, so first thing, let's just go across and figure out what we have left. 73 minus 19. Help me out. Is that 54? Is that 54? See if a couple people shaking their heads. Okay. Let's bring down whatever we have. We have an equal sign. That comes down. 9/10 times n. That comes down. 19 and negative 19 makes 0. So that I don't need to bring down plus 0. I'll just leave it out. Okay. So now let's get rid of 9/10. First thing I want to do is get rid of the denominator. So I think we'll multiply. I'm going to multiply by 10. Make sure you do it on both sides. And, ooh, what's 10 times 54? You remember how you multiply by 10? Add a 0, yes. So it's 540. Well, on the other side, it cancels, though. That's why we did that. And then we get equal sign 9 times n. Okay? Now I want to get rid of the 9. And it's being multiplied with n. So I want to do the opposite, the reverse of that. What is that? What should I do with a 9? Multiply it, divide it, add it, subtract it.
Divide.
Divide. And fortunately for us, 9 does go into 54, right? What is it, 6 times? So 9 goes into 540 60 times. And over here, we don't have 9, so it's just n. So Ariane, do you see how I just have the variable now because I divided? And that's 60. So the answer is 60. And you can write it this way or flip it around, write it that way. Okay? All right. Any questions so far? Okay, so we're going to put some negatives in here, okay? 2 more examples. Because we've done two-step for the most part. I see some people still writing, so I'm just going to allow you to finish. And do this one. Let's do negative 5/4 times m minus 4 equals positive 16. Positive 16. Okay. So we're going to do this one now. Again, always scan over your equation and say, okay, here's my coefficient, here's my constant. Which number is my constant? 4. So 4 has got to go. And it's minus 4. You can think of it as negative 4. So just put the opposite. And we do that on both sides. All right. So you got negative 5/4. And just bring it. I'm going to do one thing, though. I'm going to take this negative, put it to the denominator. You can put the negative to the numerator or denominator. I just want to get rid of it right away. So I'm going to put it in the denominator. I'm going to put 5 over negative 4 times m. Negative 4 and positive 4, that makes 0. Gone. 16 and 4 is 20. And I'm ready to do the next step. The denominator is negative 4. By now I hope we should all know, okay, that means I got to multiply. What am I going to multiply by? Negative 4. Because this negative and that negative cancel. And I'll do that on the other side as well. Okay. So let's see what we have. I got a negative 4 here, a negative 4 down in the denominator. They're gone. Okay. So I got 5 times m equals 20 times negative 4. That's negative 80. Okay. Now I have to divide to get rid of the 5. Oops. Unfortunately, 80 ends in 0, so 5 does go in evenly. We get a nice answer. It's negative 80 divided by 5. So that will be a negative answer. So now the question is, how many 5s go into 80? I believe it's 16. Okay, on that part, there's calculators if we need to think it through. And yeah. So now m is negative 16. And now we know negative 5/4 multiplied by negative 16, and then you take away 4 is positive 16. Okay? So this will be the last one. Okay? Negative 32 equals negative 20 plus 6/7 times x. Return to x here. Okay. Negative 32 equals negative 20 plus 6/7 times x. All right. So do you see all we did was just take this equation and just kind of rotate it so the variable's on the right side? Some people actually like to flip it because they want the variables on the left. It's up to you. I'm okay with that. So is it okay if we just solve it like this? What do we get rid of first? 20. It's got to go. So we want its opposite. Positive 20. Now when we're doing this step here, think of it as adding with positives and negatives. And those rules apply. Same sign, add and keep. Different sign like we have here. Subtract. So it's 32 take away 20. 12. But the bigger number is negative, so it's negative 12. Okay. Then we have an equal sign. And then we have our opposites here, which go away, equals 6/7 times x. Okay. So now let's see what we have. We have 6/7 times x. Again, we'll get rid of the denominator by multiplying. And what should I multiply by? 7. To cancel. Over here, we got 7 times negative 12. That's negative 84. Equals 6 times x. And now we get rid of the 6 by dividing. To cancel this. And let's see. Negative 84 divided by 6. Well, I know it's going to be negative. And 6 goes into 84 14 times. And so the answer is negative 14 equals x. Or like I said, we could just flip this around to x equals negative 14. Okay? So that is our answer for that. Any questions? All right. So we're going to practice this today. Where did I leave 2 worksheets? Let me